I stopped getting compliments on my hair around 54, and it took me 2 years to figure out why. Nobody told me the truth. It wasn't my color, it wasn't my gray, it was the actual shape of the cut working against my face. Today I'm walking you through 5 haircuts that genuinely take years off a woman over 50. Not trendy cuts, not high-maintenance cuts, but ones a real stylist would put you in if she was being honest with you. I researched the best haircuts and styling fixes for women over 50 so you get real answers, not guesswork. If you haven't hit subscribe yet, do it now. I post this kind of breakdown every single week. Part 1. The lob that lifts your whole face. Here's something most women never hear from their stylist. Length past the shoulders doesn't age you because it's long. It ages you because of what it does to gravity on your face. Past a certain point, the weight of the hair pulls everything downward, and it drags the eye down with it, right along the jawline, right at the spot most of us are already sensitive about. I know that recognition. You look in the mirror, and it's not that the hair looks bad exactly. It just isn't doing you any favors anymore. It sits there. It doesn't lift. It doesn't do anything for your face except add weight where you don't need weight. The fix is a long bob that hits right at or just below the jaw. Cut with a slight forward angle, so it's shorter in the back and grazes the chin in front. This is not a blunt, heavy bob. You want to walk in and say this exact phrase to your stylist. I want a jaw-length lob with a soft forward angle, point cut ends, not blunt. That phrase matters because a blunt lob can look severe on a mature face, but a point cut, angled lob does the opposite of what your longer length was doing. It stops the downward pull. It redirects the eye up, toward your cheekbones and your eyes, instead of down toward your jaw and neck. Here's the part that actually surprises people. This cut works with gray and silver hair better than almost any other length, because the shorter length keeps the ends looking crisp instead of wispy and thin, which is the thing that reads as tired on longer gray hair. There's a woman named Colette I think about with this one. She'd worn her hair past her shoulders for probably 20 years, always pulling it back because she said it did nothing for her loose. The day she went to jaw length, she didn't recognize herself walking out of the salon. Not because it was dramatic. It wasn't a big color change, nothing shocking, but because for the first time in years, people were looking at her eyes when they talked to her, not somewhere lower on her face. She told me later that her daughter actually gasped when she saw her, and asked if she'd done something with her skin, when really, the only thing that changed was the length and angle of her hair. That's the real result of this cut. It's not about looking done up. It's about the eye landing somewhere different on your face the second someone looks at you. Before, with longer hair past the shoulders, the weight pulled everything down and softened the jawline in the wrong way, making the whole face read as tired even on a good day. After, with the angled jaw-length lob, the shorter length lifts, the point cut ends keep things light, and the eye moves straight to the cheekbones and eyes instead. Now there's a length everyone assumes is the safe, easy choice, and it's actually doing something to your face you've probably never had explained to you. Part of what makes this cut work is also what makes the next one such a surprise, because it involves cutting into hair most women are told to protect at all costs. Part 2. The shag that solves thinning without cutting it short. Most women think there are only 2 options once hair starts thinning. Cut it very short, or keep it long and just deal with it looking flat. Almost nobody tells you there's a third option, and it's the one that actually solves the problem instead of just hiding it. If you've noticed your hair looking thinner through the crown, or noticed the ends looking wispy no matter how you dry it, that's usually not actually less hair. It's the same amount of hair, cut in a single blunt line, so there's no internal movement to create the appearance of volume. One length, especially past a certain age, reads as thin even when it isn't. The fix is a modern shag, heavily layered through the crown and the mid-lengths, with shorter face framing pieces around the front. Say this to your stylist. I want internal layers starting at the crown, with movement built through the mid-lengths, not just at the ends. That distinction matters. A lot of stylists hear shag and only shorten the ends. You want layers that start high near the roots because that's what creates lift and separation, which is what actually reads as thicker, fuller hair on camera and in person. Here's the mechanism nobody explains. Layers cut into fine hair create tiny gaps of movement between sections. Those gaps catch light differently than one flat length does, and that difference is what your eye reads as volume. It's not more hair. It's hair behaving in a way that photographs and moves like there's more of it. I think of a woman named Rosalind whenever I talk about this cut. She'd been told for years by well-meaning friends to just keep it long, it's easier. And her hair had gone flat and stringy through the crown for at least a decade. When she finally got layers cut in, real ones, starting near the roots, she came back the following week and said something I still remember. She said she'd forgotten what it felt like for her hair to move on its own instead of just hanging there. That's the actual result of this fix. It's not a dramatic before and after in terms of length. It's a woman who suddenly has hair with energy in it again, for the first time in years. There's also a secret piece to this that stylists rarely volunteer. The shorter face framing pieces around the front do double duty. They soften the jawline the same way the lob does, but they also camouflage any recession at the temples, which is extremely common after 50 and almost never talked about openly. Before this fix, flat, single-length hair with no internal layering reads as thin and lifeless no matter how healthy the hair actually is underneath. After, heavily layered internal movement starting at the crown creates lift, separation, and the appearance of real thickness, without cutting a single inch off the overall length if you don't want to. I almost didn't include the next cut on this list, because it's the one women are most afraid of, but it might do more for your face than any other haircut here. Here's a confession. I avoided this next cut myself for almost 3 years out of pure fear, and I regret every one of those years now. Part 3. The pixie nobody warns you could be this flattering. Let's be honest about the fear first, because it's real and it deserves to be named directly. Most women think a pixie cut will make them look severe, masculine, or like they've given up on their hair. I felt exactly that fear. And I was wrong, in a way that actually surprised me. The truth about why a pixie can age a woman badly isn't the short length itself. It's a pixie cut without any texture on top, cropped flat and close to the head like a helmet. That version does read as severe, and that's the version most of us picture when we hear the word pixie. The fix that changes everything is what stylists call a textured pixie with volume through the crown and a longer, soft fringe swept to the side. The exact phrase to use. I want a textured pixie, longer on top with a side-swept fringe, not cropped flat. That single instruction, longer on top, textured, side-swept, is the entire difference between a pixie that ages you and a pixie that takes years off your face. The length on top gives you something to style, something with movement, instead of a flat cap of hair sitting close to the scalp. Here's what actually happens to your face when you make this change. Shorter hair with volume on top elongates the face vertically, which counteracts the natural softening and widening that happens to the jawline and cheeks as we get older. It's the opposite of what most women fear. Instead of exposing every feature, it draws the eye upward and gives the whole face more structure. I think about a woman named Diane every time I talk about this one. She'd been terrified of this cut for years, kept it just past her chin instead, always saying maybe next year. When she finally did it, genuinely on a whim, at her granddaughter's urging, she cried in the salon chair. Not from regret. She said she looked like herself again. The version of herself from decades ago. The one with real bone structure and a real jawline. The one that had been hiding under longer hair that did nothing but add weight and softness in the wrong places. That's the real snapback most women don't expect from this cut. It doesn't just change your hair, it reveals your face. All the structure that was getting buried under length and weight suddenly has room to show. Before, longer hair past the chin adds softness and weight that blur the jawline and flatten the whole face. After, a textured pixie with volume on top and a side-swept fringe elongates the face, sharpens the jawline visually, and gives the eye something to move toward instead of just drifting downward. I promise you the next cut is the one your stylist has probably suggested, and you've probably said no to, without knowing what you were actually turning down. There's a specific reason women say no to this next one, and it usually isn't the real reason at all. Part 4. The curtain fringe that softens everything without commitment. Most women who say no to bangs aren't actually against bangs. They're against the version of bangs they're picturing, which is a heavy, blunt fringe cut straight across the forehead. That version can look harsh, can look aging, and honestly, can look like it belongs on someone 30 years younger. But that's not the only kind of fringe that exists, and I think that's the piece almost nobody explains before a woman commits to saying no. The fix is a curtain fringe, two soft, face-framing pieces that part in the center and sweep outward, blending into the rest of the hair instead of standing apart from it as a separate section. Tell your stylist exactly this. I want a curtain fringe that blends into my layers, parted in the center, not a blunt full fringe. That distinction is the whole story. A curtain fringe isn't really bangs, in the way most of us picture the word. It's soft, face-framing pieces that move with the rest of your hair. And because they blend rather than sit as a separate block, there's no harsh commitment moment the way there is with a full blunt fringe. Here's the part that makes this fringe so effective specifically after 50. It falls right at the temples and cheekbones, which is exactly where fine lines tend to be most visible, and where skin can start to look slightly more tired by midday. Soft, moving pieces of hair break up that area visually, without covering the whole forehead or reading as an obvious cover-up. There's a woman I think of named Marguerite with this one. She'd resisted any kind of fringe for years, convinced it would look like she was trying too hard, or trying to look younger in an obvious way. When she finally tried the curtain version, the compliment that actually got her was from a coworker who said her eyes looked brighter. Not that her hair looked different. That's the tell. When a fix works well after 50, people often don't clock the hair change directly. They just notice you looking more rested, more awake, more like yourself on a good day. That reaction is the real payoff of this fix. It's subtle by design. Nobody names the fringe. They just notice the version of you that looks a little more awake, a little more at ease, without being able to say exactly why. Before, a fully pulled back or fringe-free style leaves the whole forehead and temple area exposed, which can emphasize fine lines and make the face read as more tired than it is. After, soft curtain pieces framing the temples and cheekbones break up that area gently, softening the whole upper face without a hard, obvious bangs moment. There's one cut left, and it's the one that ties every single fix so far into a single shape. The one I'd actually recommend first if a woman asked me where to start. I saved this last one on purpose, because out of everything on this list, it's the one that gets requested the least and deserves it the most. Part 5. The face-framing layered cut that pulls it all together. If you've been nodding along to everything so far, thinking you like pieces of several of these cuts but aren't sure which one is actually you, this last one might be the answer, because it borrows the best mechanism from each of them. Here's the fact most women never hear. You don't have to choose between short and easy, and long and shapeless. There's a middle option that most stylists reserve for their favorite clients, because it takes more skill to cut well, and it works on almost every face shape over 50. The fix is a long layered cut with heavy face framing pieces cut shorter around the cheekbones and jaw, while the back stays longer for versatility. The phrase for your stylist: I want long layers with strong face framing pieces at the cheekbones, but keep the length and fullness through the back. This cut takes the lifting effect of the lob, the internal movement of the shag, and the face softening of the curtain fringe, and combines them into one cohesive shape, rather than asking you to commit to one single trick. The mechanism here is about strategic weight distribution. The shorter face framing pieces lift and lighten right where you need it most, around the jaw and cheeks, while the longer back layers keep the overall cut from feeling like a dramatic change. You get the youthful lift without walking into work with a completely different silhouette. I think of a woman named Eleanor whenever this cut comes up. She'd been getting the same one-length trim for 15 years, terrified that any real change would be too much at her age. When she finally agreed to real face framing layers, she told me the strangest part wasn't how she looked. It was how much faster her hair dried, and how much less she had to fight with it every morning. The layers did the styling work for her. She stopped needing to blow-dry it into submission because the cut itself was already doing the lifting. That's the quiet win of this cut. It's not just about looking younger in a single dramatic moment. It's about a haircut that keeps doing the work for you every single morning, long after you've left the salon chair. Before, one-length hair with no face-framing layers requires more daily effort, and does nothing to lift or lighten the face. After, long layers with strong face framing pieces at the cheekbones lift the face, cut styling time down, and keep the versatility of longer hair, all at once. You now know exactly what to say in that salon chair. Jaw-length lob with a forward angle, internal layers starting at the crown, a textured pixie with volume on top, a curtain fringe that blends instead of announces itself, or face framing layers that do the styling work for you every morning. Any one of these, said in the stylist's own language, changes how people read your whole face. So tell me in the comments, which of these 5 have you been too nervous to actually ask for? Next week I'm breaking down the exact color mistakes that make gray hair look dull instead of luminous, so you don't want to miss it. Like this video, subscribe to Timeless Wisdom Path, and I'll see you in the next one.